Hi there, folks. So this video is going to show you how to create a slider type thing, something that looks like this, where one piece can slide into another piece here. I've got some plans here that we can work from. This is pretty much all we need. These other lengths don't really matter. You could choose whatever you want. You can shape the top however you want. You can even shape this part however you want. The idea, though, is we're going to have a top piece with a little bitty gap that's going to go around the whole thing. So I'm going to show some geometry, and there's a million ways to do this. I'll try to highlight the critical parts, but we're going to come up with something like this. So I am going to do this in a blank document here. So the basic place we want to start, if we take a look over here at actually I'm going to do it in this PDF. If we take a look over here at these amounts that we've got here for these different gaps and whatnot, the sizing that we use, it's all based on the outer opening. Actually, it's kind of hard to see here because of the line weight. It's all based on the outer opening. You can see these dimensions here, these 5 millimeters, they point to this point and this point, not the inside parts. So that's something that's important. We're going to make the bottom piece first, and then we're going to make the top piece to fit, and we're going to leave this 0.254 gap. So I'm going to show how to do all of that now. So to make the bottom piece there, and I will probably flip back and forth to that for reference, we need to, and you can see my cursor has this yellow orb around it. Every time I click, it's going to show a gray circle so you will know where I'm clicking. So I click the sketch button. I'm going to pick the front sketch plane here, and I am just going to start out by drawing a rectangle here, and that rectangle is just going to be this overall bottom shape without the cutout part. So it's just this bottom shape here, and so I am going to draw a rectangle. I'm not going to worry about the size right this second. I'm just going to make it, then I'm going to come back and dimension it. Let's see what sizes I use. So 15 millimeters tall by 25 millimeters wide. So let's come back over here. So 15 millimeters tall, 15 by 20. Did I say 20 or 25? 25. Let's go check. I might have screwed it up. Oh, no, perfect. 25. Great. All right, now we have that general shape, and we're just going to extrude this. So I click the check mark, I click extrude, and I'm going to pick that outline. And let's take a look how far it goes. It's 50 millimeters long. So I'm just going to extrude it to 50 millimeters, and I'm going to flip it the other way. I want it going the other way. 50 in there. There we go. Click the check mark. Bam. We have our base, but now we need that little kind of key-shaped opening there, that bulbous, that opening. So I'm going to create another sketch. So it's all sketches and extrusions, and I clicked right on this surface right here. So now I'm sketching on that surface, and what I can also do is click the front of this view cube so that I can see this straight on, which will make it a little easier to work with. So what I like to do next is I like to turn on a construction line. So I'm going to click construction, and then I'm going to click line. And this is going to give me a line that Onshape will ignore later. And I'm going to make sure the middle of the top line lights up. I'm going to click to start the line. And then I'm going to make sure the bottom middle lights up. And this is basically giving me a center point to work with on here. And that's going to come in handy later. And then I hit escape on the keyboard to cancel out of the line tool. And then I'm going to click the line again. And now I'm going to roughly draw that shape that we saw before. And I'm going to make sure, see that dotted yellow line there, that I'm snapping these to be horizontal and vertical. When I get to this point, I'm going to go over here before I click. I'm going to make sure that lights up, and I'm going to move away to get it to snap to be lined up with that line. And then I'm going to finish it out here. Okay. All right. Now, what I can do next is I can center everything on this line. So let's see if this works here. So up here we have a whole bunch of constraints. We can make lines parallel to one another. We can make them tangent, horizontal, vertical, perpendicular. The one we want right now, first, we're going to do equal. So I'm going to set this line equal to this line. So I'll click this line, and then I'll click this line. And now I'm going to hit escape to cancel my equal command. Now if I change the size of this, oh, it's hard to see it now. These two lines will stay the same. So see that? Both lines move because they both want to stay the same size. Now I'm going to make things symmetrical around my center line. So I'm going to pick the symmetric constraint. And I'm going to say that I want this line and this line to be symmetrical around this line. And now I also want this line and this line. Let me see, this might give me an error. Oh, no, good. To be symmetrical around that line. Now everything will stay symmetrical around that line right there. So the last step now is to just set the sizes of this. So let's see what sizes I used. So from the top edge down to the top of this line, we have 5 and then 5 more. The overall width of this is 10 and the outside part is 15. So let's type those all in there. So I'm going to go dimension. I'm going to click this line, move my mouse away, click again, 5, enter. I'm going to click this line, move my mouse away, click again, 5, enter. Okay, now these lines have turned black, which means if I hit escape to get out of my dimension tool, they can't move anymore. These lines can still move, but these can't when I try to drag them. So I'm going to keep dimensioning. I said, what did I say? This was 15 and the other one was 10. 15, enter. Click this line, click this line, 10, enter. Okay, and that looks about right. That was 10, 15. Okay, something looks different proportionally, but we're going to roll with it. It'll work. Okay, and then I'll click the check mark. Now I'm gonna rotate my view a little bit. I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard. I can click on this little corner up here. I'm gonna now extrude this, and I'm gonna do an extrude-remove. So I'll click extrude, remove, and then I'm gonna pick this shape. And this is gonna cut away all that material. I could drag it out like this, but instead of doing that and having a distance in there, I'm just gonna click in this drop down and I'm gonna say through all. And it's just gonna go forever. It's gonna go through everything, and that's perfect. That's just what I want. Now I'll click the check mark. Okay, and now I excitingly have the bottom part of this shape done. So now it's time to create this top part that's going to go in here. So first what I'm going to do, I've got this bottom part. I'm going to create the inside outline of this, and then I'm going to add in this little top part up here. So you're going to see how I do that in just a second. You don't need to see my to-do list though. Oh boy, okay, I got lost in my tabs. So I'm going to click on the front view again. I'm going to zoom in a little. I'm going to make a sketch, and I'm going to place it right on the front of this. And then I'm going to use the offset tool here, and I'm going to offset all these lines. Here's the gap, 2.254 millimeters. So that's the distance I'm going to offset. So I'll click offset. I might have clicked it, but then it went away. I'm going to carefully pick just these lines. I'm going to go around making sure not to pick anything else. And it might give you a little error up here, but if we gently drag this arrow slowly right to about there, we don't have to get it perfect. We just get it about in the right place. That's going to give us this inside part that we are looking for. Okay, and if I click anywhere else now, it's going to let me type a number in there. I'm going to type 0.254 is the gap. That should allow it to slide because 0.254 on this side plus 0.254 over there will give us about 0.508 millimeters. And these numbers might mean nothing to you. That's okay. Just go with them. I promise they will work. Okay, now we have to add the little top piece to this. So that's pretty easy to do. I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to, just like before, I'm going to hover until I get that yellow dotted line. And then I'm going to start drawing. So I clicked. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to lock it onto that corner so that it's lined up with that. I'm going to come up here, straight up, over. Let's lock it onto this corner. Boom, get it horizontal. Still locked onto that. Let's line this one up with that dot. So we can keep snapping to these different points, and we'll line this one up to that dot. Now, the last step here is to connect these two. So we can easily do that using it's under these scissors here. You click this little drop down and you do extend. And what this lets you do is you can click a line and it'll extend it to wherever else you click. So I'm going to click right there. So I click the line and then I click where I want it to snap to. And now you see this all closed in. We just have to dimension it now to get all the lines to turn black. These lines are already black because they're locked onto the sides of these, but we're going to hit dimension, and we just have to set the height from the top of this to the bottom of this. So let's go from here to here. So I click once on each spot. what did I have that at? 5 millimeters. And then the distance for this little gap, we're going to set to 1 millimeter. And now things look about like this picture. Again, things look a little funny to me, but I don't know what's up with that. We'll click the check mark. And the last step is just to do a regular old extrude now on this shape. So I'll click extrude. And I'm going to, when that shape lights up, I'm going to click it, that sketch. Obviously, I don't want it going out this way, so I'm going to click these arrows to flip the direction. And this time, instead of doing blind, I'm going to click here and I'm going to say up to face. And then I'm going to click the back face. And it's going to go all the way until it hits that face, and then it's going to stop. Now I click the check mark, and bada bing, bada boom, my slider is all done. So that is how you can create a slider in Onshape. I hope you find this helpful. And remember, there are ways you can change this up. You can shape anything any way you want, but if you use this similar technique of offsetting the inner part and then just adding on to it, you'll be all set to go. All right, and there we have it.